Hello and welcome back to the Beautiful Things channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these really cute little elves or gnomes, whatever you want to call them. I believe they're called GONKs, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, they're really easy to make. All you need are some simple supplies that you're likely to have at home, and if not, all the other bits I managed to get from my local pound shop. It all starts with your plain white sock. Now these are men's ankle socks, and what I like to do is chop it at the heel. And you're just going to use the toe. Now you're going to fill this up with rice. So the easiest way to do that is actually to put the toe into a mug or a cup and fold the edges over, and then you can fill the mug. It will take about 3 or 4 attempts to do this because you'll have to keep knocking the rice down into the sock. And this is a kilo bag of rice. Oops, it's going everywhere. And I did find that when I made that one, I probably used half a kilo of rice. So it does use quite a bit. But obviously you can buy your value range in the supermarket. Once it gets to a certain height, then you have to go in with a spoon. And you will make a right old mess, as you can see. And I'm going to keep on going with the rest of my rice. And use the other half of the bag. So just knock that down into the sock as far as it will go. And then once you've knocked it all the way down and turned it into a nice big sturdy ball, you can take one of the bobbles, and you could use loom bands for this as well, but they do deteriorate over time, so just twist it to get it nice and firm, and then you can put the bobble on to secure. Now if you want to keep these for some time, I would recommend taking a piece of baker's twine or string and tying that round the top there, because as I say, these bands do deteriorate over time and you don't want him to fall apart. So I've just got a little bit of cord, and I'm going to now tie that in a nice tight double knot, and then when that band eventually disintegrates, it will be nice and secure still. Just chop that off, and you can also chop off any remaining sock and just leave a little tuft. Now we're going to zoom you in. So this next part is about making his nose. So what you want to do is kind of grab about here and just go in and grab some of that rice. Get hold of it and really give it a squeeze until you've got like a bulbous shape. And then take one of the clear snag bobbles and take it around the area that you are holding, and it's going to give you a really cute little bobble that you can use for a nose. Now the trick to making him look chilly and like he's been out in the cold all day is a little bit of blusher and a paintbrush. So we're going to make him look nice and warm now. So we're going to just get some of the blusher and just knock it onto his nose. And this is better than using paint because it just looks a little bit more natural. Gives him a nice fireside glow. Make sure you go all the way underneath. It doesn't matter if you get any of the blusher onto this part because we're going to be covering that up. This is also a really good way if you do crochet and you make little crochet creatures. You can use this on a cotton wool bud or a Q-tip and create their little rosy cheeks. There we go. Okay, so now that he's got his nose, we need to clothe him. So he's going to have a red sock jumper. Now I'm going to cut this jumper just below the heel. Do keep hold of these parts because you can use them later on for hats. And we're going to pick him up and pop him inside his jumper. Get him nicely snug in there. Now, what you want to do now is plug in your glue gun, because we're going to take this jumper and we're going to trim it down and we're going to wrap it around his nose so that we can get it nice and tight and snug. So you can see roughly the area that you want to remove. So all I do is just cut a little line into the top of the sock, and then I can bring it tightly around the nose and I can wrap it round like so. So once your glue gun has fired up, you're ready to start securing that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath his nose and come right up to the top. Then I'm going to quickly pull this up and wrap it really tightly around his nose, so it's really snug and in place. And then you can add some more glue just into the top areas here. This is all going to end up under his hat, so you're not going to see it, but you can just pull the sock up and just stick it down all the way round. And again, you can trim away any excess that you don't need, but you want it to be all nice and brought up to the top here. And then just run some more glue around the top edge, and you can wrap the top edge of the sock around his nose, and then do the same with the other side. Just make sure it's pulled really nicely and snug. And then you can chop off any excess that you've got that's getting in the way. Just make sure that it's really nice and snugly around his nose, and then it's time to add his beard. Now for the beard, all I did was cut a 5" by 6" square. I made sure that all of the pile was going down so you could stroke down his beard, and then I turned it over, I found the centre and I just shaped it into a bit of a point, and I cut out ever such a small dip right in the top here, and that is what's going to sit and fit nicely around his nose. So we're going to simply glue that in place with the glue gun. So we're going to put plenty of glue around the bottom of his nose and take your shape. Make sure that you pull it really nice and tightly in and you haven't got any sock peeking out. Get that lovely and snug. Then I like to cut ever such a tiny little slither of fur, and I just put that along the top here just to cover up any potential sock, and it will go underneath his hat so you won't actually see it. You can pop it underneath the beard there, so it's a bit like an upper nose moustache. That's just going to help to make sure that there's no red sock showing, and there's his beard nicely attached. Now all we've got to do, so he's got his body, all we've got to do is put his hat on, and that's really simple. We're just going to take a fun fuzzy sock and cut it below the heel. And then what I like to do is just cut a little piece more of the sock, and I just ball it up and I pop it into the very end. And this is good if you've got a toe that's a different colour, because you can then just scrunch it up, and again take one of the clear elastics and pop it around the top, and it's going to give you a really nice bobble. And you could stitch a bell on here if you wanted. You can do whatever you want, but that's going to give you a lovely bobble to the top of your hat. And then all you're going to want to do is roll up the bottom edges of your sock and pop his hat on. And you have to tweak and play around with it a little bit to get it to sit right. And if his beard starts to be a bit of a pest, you can give him a donk on the table. This one's got a particularly long beard, so I might actually trim that off a bit. They're always different. It's never specific measurements. It depends on the rice, how tightly you do them up. I like him quite pointy like that. He's cute. Once you're happy with that hat, oh dear, look, his beard's coming off. A bit more hot glue on there just to attach that there. There we go. Just take it all the way round. Make sure it's out of the way. There we go. Let's try again, shall we? Have your hat, mate. I do find these socks are so furry that you do end up fighting with the edges to get a nice turned edge. But once you're happy with it, there we go. You can add some glue under the rim of the hat if you want to. Again, if you're going to be wanting to keep these for some time, then around the nose and around the pom-pom, just add some twine, because those elastic bands won't last forever. And then all I think he needs, no, put it under his nose. All I think he needs is a bow on the top. And this actually wrapped the socks. They came wrapped with this. There we go. A gorgeous little silvery festive gonk. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. These little chaps are coming home with me. I know a certain little miss who's going to love them. I will see you again really soon. And if you do make one, please do pop them on social media and tag me, because I would love to see them. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!